Well, let's talk about this with Dale Vince, who's founder of Ecotricity. Good morning to you.
Yeah, morning, Julia.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Dale. Shirley Brevman's right, isn't she? The police need to take a hand on this.
I think she's right that members of the public have lost faith in the government, actually, to deal with the climate crisis. And that's what you're seeing in the Just Stop Oil protesters taking to the streets.
I mean, the people are taking to the streets, but I mean, they don't have to take the streets. There are plenty of ways of legally protesting. I've been on a legal protest against lockdown, but I didn't go around stopping other people going about their daily business. Why do eco-activists justify what is, because we see people are being convicted, people are being arrested of criminal activity?
Well, you know, I hoped it was fairly obvious. We are facing a climate crisis. I heard you mention the injured policeman collision of a couple of lorries. That's unfortunate, no doubt about it.
It's not unfortunate. It's a direct result of what happened.
And it's unfortunate. And in the extreme weather that we had in the last year, we've had 40,000 deaths, actual deaths, and you've got to hold that up against this disruption that people are causing. People are not doing enough.
Dale, thousands of people die as a result of cold, far more from the cold than from heat, every single year in every country, actually, but particularly in this country as well. That's an issue. That's an issue of poverty and an issue of obviously very, very elderly people who, frankly, unfortunately, are on borrowed time a lot of the time anyway. And I mean, obviously, we do some heat-related deaths, but it's cold-related deaths which are the biggest problem in this country and around the world, not heat-related deaths. When you say it's unfortunate, this police officer could, if he'd hit his head differently, we could have seen someone, dying. We could have seen something more than this. These people say they want to raise awareness. They're making a demand. We don't need any more awareness. I mean, oh my God, this is on the news 24/7. And B, who are these people to make a demand? If you want to have some change in what policy, you stand for election, you campaign, you win over people with your arguments, and you get elected, and you enact change that way. You don't just hold the country to ransom.
Okay. Well, look, first off, the deaths I'm talking about are from the climate crisis. They're not the deaths every year of people from the cold because they can't afford to heat their homes, which is another crisis that the government aren't handling properly. I hear what you're saying.
But no, so you can't just skirt over. 40,000 people didn't die from climate crisis in this country this year. That is not true. That is not true.
And across the world, it is. Across Europe and across the world.
Across the world. 40,000 people. That's nothing. It used to be millions. Right, we're going to have to leave that. Let's move aside from that.
I'm not finishing. Across the world, it's hundreds of thousands, not 40,000. The numbers are out there. If you listen to what's being said at COP27, this is a real crisis. Countries are being inundated with water. Whole countries are being unlivable. We're going to create millions of refugees from the climate crisis. This is a real problem. And yes, we don't lack awareness. I can hear your argument.
So who are these people to make demands?
We lack action. We lack action, don't we?
I want action on lots of things, but I don't climb up a gantry on the M25 and stop people going to their father's funeral. When you say this is about young people, entitled often young people, some old as well, who clearly no one's ever said no to. Just because you want something in a democracy doesn't mean you get to force it on other people. You have to persuade and campaign. That's how we do things in a civilised 21st century democracy.
But I don't think that's a fair characterisation of the people behind this protest.
They use the word demand.
No, I'm talking about, you call them young entitled people, or people who've never been said no to. I don't think that's the correct characterisation of the people behind this protest. What is the correct characterisation? Absolutely not. They're from all walks of life and all ages, actually. They are. Yeah, they are.
Why does it, regardless of their background, why does it give them the right to demand action?
Because the world is in peril, right? And the things that are happening to the world, from the big oil and gas companies and the big food companies, they are driving destruction. The sixth great mass extinction of wildlife in our world, and a climate crisis that will make the planet unlivable. And all of this is.
I get told off all the time about this. There is nothing in the IPCC reports that says the planet is going to become unlivable. This is just complete hyperbole. Those reports the scientific reports do not say anything of the sort. The predictions from the actual scientists, the actual documents and reports. You're supposed to be an expert on this. This is something you feel very strongly. You're in a company that specialises in renewable energy, green energy. You should know more about this than me. That's simply not true. So this idea that this is this sort of absolute crisis right now, and if we don't act now, the whole planet's going to die. That is simply made up I mean, I'm not making up climate change before Ofcom get involved. I'm simply saying these exaggerated claims are untrue.
Okay, so everything's happening at COP27 is made up. It's a fantasy.
Not everything. A lot of the things that are said by political activists and politicians at COP27, yes, they are made up. They're not based on the scientific reports they claim that they are based on.
That's amazing. That's a great conspiracy theory, that is.
It's not a conspiracy theory. You can read the IPCC reports yourself. I'm guessing you haven't, because you're misquoting them.
I read plenty. I am not. I read plenty. Look, we've experienced 1.1 degree of global climate temperature rise, right?
Since 1880.
Last year.
Since 1880.
Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, we've experienced 1.1 degree, right? It was floods, wildfires, droughts, hundreds of thousands of deaths globally.
No. Deaths from climate disasters have gone down by 95% in the last 100 years.
No.
No, they have. That's an official stat.
Degrees.
There's just no point. Dale, we'll have to leave it there. Dale, we'll have to leave it there. I mean, there's just no point even having these conversations, is there? You're not, because if you point out a fact, everyone just says, no, you're a climate denier. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're not allowed to use facts anymore because you have to have faith and you have to believe. I'm very happy to have a debate on this, but everyone's got to be using the same facts.